Okay, what up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Inconsiderate Insights, which is a segment from our content, what we usually do. So I'm very excited about this episode because we actually have a special guest. He's all the way from Canada. Let me introduce you guys to Lucas.
Hello, it's great
What
to be here.
up,
Thanks,
Lucas?
thanks for having me.
Oh, can we do some hype a bit?
Yeah.
Hype it up.
Oh, for me, here we go. I got my paintings in the background. Here we go.
All right. So, so I managed to get on a DM with Lucas where we managed to secure a time where we actually discuss about what Lucas is into, which is something that's fascinating for me because I've been following you ever since you got that featured post by the
Christos Nikis, yeah.
Christos Nikis, yeah. So ever since I saw that post, I kind of saw some valuable content in there where it talks about major TikTok facts and details and all that. So and that's when I dive into your account and I actually found out like, hey, this guy is like he's got a lot of content going on. So I think I'm just gonna pause here and I'm gonna let you take the stage and give us a 2-3 minutes about yourself and what you do, and yeah, we can vibe from there.
Yeah, sounds good. So as you said, my name is Lucas O'Keefe. I run my own marketing agency, which is called On the Clock Media. It actually just started over the last few years. It's more just a side project of mine. I was really just running generic social media marketing, so largely based on Facebook, Instagram ads, and mainly for local businesses around me here in Canada. I'm also, as my main career, I've been a school teacher for the last 6 years. So that was something
Nice.
I did just kind of, my weekend was working with clients, my evenings working with clients, and then teaching was most of my weekday job. However, as things kind of continued, I really did find this passion for marketing. I found that something I really enjoy about teaching as well is the communication. It's the connection that I can have with people and, clients, customers, and also my students. So as things kind of started to shift, I obviously in the classroom heard about my students talking about this Tic-Tock app all the time, right? So they say that if you look at the trends that start among, like the 12 to 16-year-olds in any society, then that's probably what's going to become huge on social media, right? So it was absolutely right with TikTok. After seeing just a bunch of my students on this platform, they're talking about it all the time, I decided to check it out for myself. So I downloaded the app, made an account. I sat on it for like a week. I didn't make any content of my own. I just kind of learned the style of communication. I just observed what people were doing on it. And then I finally made my first video within a week. It was just it was a 7-second video of just a seal in San Diego flopping on the beach. I found a good hip hop track to put in the background and I uploaded it and it got 2 million views in the first 24 hours.
2 million.
2 million.
2 million. Yes, 2 million.
I had zero followers on TikTok. So I had 0 TikTok followers. Like nobody knew who I was. If anything, I was trying to hide my account because I didn't want my students to find me and I'll tell everybody at school about that, right? But I really did see that, this platform has tons of organic reach and tons of potential if that's possible to get that many, 2 million views in such a short period of time. That video has since gone on to get, I think it has about 13 million views in total now. And I since then, I've been working well on my own personal brand on TikTok. So I've built my own TikTok, which is lucas.andreas, up to 80,000 followers. And I've had about 7 or 8 videos past the 1 million view mark already. So it really is a neat system that you can really get great organic reach from. So from there, I've now been able to, I've taken a leave from my teaching job just because everything with my agency has gone so well and my consultation has gone really well. So I've taken a leave from teaching and I'm working full time on my marketing agency now.
How long have you been working full time on this agency? For how long?
Just since December of 2019. December 2019.
So like before that, in the classroom, were you seen as the teachers down with TikTok? Like,
yeah. So, and that was the thing I say to people because everyone's all like, oh, well, I get many people who ask me, right? Like, I want to be on TikTok, but I'm not comfortable being on the camera. And I tell them for my first like 2 months of TikTok, I wasn't on the camera at all because I didn't want my students to find me. But as soon as they did, yeah, it was the talk of the whole school. Like, kids will find stuff out. They have advanced skills these days. Growing up with smartphone culture, they can investigate anything. So as soon as they found me, it was like a big talk.
Because that's something that we struggle, right? Like we try to bridge that gap between like adults and trying to introduce them to TikTok. So how do you try to convince your clients and tell them that TikTok is something that we can quantify and you can see the ROI in terms of your campaigns?
Yeah, so certainly, like if your business does deal with Generation Z, right, or anyone in that market, it obviously is going to have the top advantages for TikTok, and it really is going to take off. But I find just in general with what's going on in the world with COVID, it is seen a huge surge in older demographics to the platform, right? Like my dad's on the older side of things, but he's 62 and he's on TikTok, right? Like he loves consuming content. He loves just, binge watching videos. So it is a platform that I say, if your target audience or your customer base is on Instagram, and if they're familiar with Instagram already, then TikTok is just a short leap over, and they either have made that leap already or they will be quite soon. So I look at that, I build on that foundation of, is your target customer already on social media, and particularly the more handheld variety, which would be Instagram. And if they say yes, I pitch TikTok to them as well. Facebook, YouTube, Facebook in particular will have an older demographic, same with LinkedIn. So if someone's main customer is on those platforms, I won't really pitch TikTok to them, right?
Okay. So what were you doing before teaching? Like you have been teaching all the way?
Yep. So I did my undergraduate in English and history. And
so do you have a marketing background in terms of studies and all that?
No, not at all. So
you picked it up.
Yeah.
Nice. You picked it up.
Yeah, and I think the communication skill is what I got out of my schooling and my undergraduate. Being in front of a classroom, teaching, recognizing the trends and how to make a connection with people, right? Like it's the same thing you see with TikTok, with Instagram. Attention is hard to grab, right? We need to grab people's attention. And it's the same thing. If I can't keep a class of 30 students engaged with my lesson, especially when most kids don't want to be at school, right? If I can't keep them engaged in my lesson, I'm not going to be able to do my job effectively. So I think it's the same thing with marketing and advertising, right? If you can't get the customer's attention, you're not going to be able to send that message.
Very Jack Ma of you.
Yeah.
Hey, just curious, what were you teaching in school?
I teach elementary school. So I teach all subjects for the most part. Everything we have French as our second language. So that's the only thing I don't teach. But yeah, elementary. So I teach everything.
All right. So do your students teach you how to TikTok? Like, hey, Mr. Lucas, check out this filter and all that. Do they do that?
Actually, it went the other way. So they saw how quickly I started, they couldn't believe it when they saw I had a viral video. So they started asking me, and like, especially with certain classes, like the ones that were, some of the classes that are more active, you might say, or like more difficult to get their attention in terms of behavior and whatnot. I could get those kids listening for like 45 minutes if I just told them about like TikTok tips. Like, I see you guys trying to, build your TikTok following. Here are some things you want to work on.
That's the future of education right there. Teaching through TikTok.
I do want to ask about, so like in Singapore, the government actually has a TikTok account.
So, oh, really?
The gov.sg has a TikTok account, and they've been really active throughout this COVID pandemic. So as a way of telling people what policies are available for them, and even for small business owners, things that they can look up. So from your experience as both an educator and a TikTok marketer, do you see any good accounts out there, like people are leveraging on TikTok to kind of disseminate information, maybe the teachers or maybe the others? Are there any accounts at your eye?
Yeah, and knowledge-based content makes up something like 18 to 30%. I don't remember the statistic exactly, but knowledge-based content is a very great portion of the content on TikTok, right? I'm sure some of it is like, if you see those like list posts where someone's just like doing a quick list of 5 things, that probably does get branched into the knowledge base category. But there are some really informative things. I know, for example, Khan Academy, which is a huge educational platform and website. They have their own TikTok account they're putting out there, right? And we see tons of these agencies. That's very interesting that you mentioned that, because Canada had a recent election as well, probably back in the fall of 2019, and not our actual prime minister who ended up getting elected, but one of the leading opponents of his started a TikTok account and like vastly reached the young voter community, right? That 18 to 25 category of voters. Like he had millions and millions of followers, right? So I definitely do see big organizations using it. We actually have seen right now with COVID, like World Health Organization has had a huge campaign right now with TikTok, or related health organizations have been given a real focus and a spotlight with TikTok. So I do see when the organizations lead the charge and when they start, putting out more content like that, I think it's going to really follow suit on TikTok.
All right. So Lucas, I've got a question to write on what you just said. So in terms of large organizations, what about you? What's your dream client? Like, what do you think which company do you think that you can make the biggest transformation using TikTok as a channel?
My ideal client, and I deal with many large business associations that help small online businesses in particular, but also local. My ideal client is someone who I can help just really get an advantage or a leg up for their business by using TikTok, because it has such organic reach for basically $0, right? If we look at Facebook and Instagram, we have the opportunity to use ads, and with how the algorithms have kind of changed on those platforms, you kind of have to use advertising or some kind of money into the system. It's still very affordable, right? Like I still think Instagram and Facebook ads are very affordable, but you have to put some kind of money into it in order to get that reach or to get seen. So with TikTok, I've helped tons of small businesses who maybe don't have the huge startup costs really leverage that and take advantage of the organic reach to get seen by thousands, 10,000, hundreds of thousands of people, right, at relatively zero cost for them. So that's mainly who I've been working with and communicating with. And that's where I see the most upsides. It can be for local or online. As I said, though, TikTok has very advanced location-based. The algorithm is very location-based if you want it to be. So we have some clients who are restaurant owners, and it's very difficult for restaurant owners in particular right now because they're not really open, at least in Canada and I guess many places in the world. But TikTok can easily send out your content to everybody around you in a geographical area. It does that by default. So they're really reaching out, kind of sharing some home recipes, showing off their food really in a visual way, and it's getting them more deliveries and more local calls and customers.
So like you were saying that you're working with brands, small brands, and that. Was there any challenge getting them to get on board to TikTok? Like, was there any friction in the beginning? Like, are you sure TikTok, aren't they for kids and all that? That's the general perception on that. Like, what's your take on that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So
sorry, go ahead.
What Zeke just said, because I think some of the challenges we face when we try to get clients to come on board TikTok is that the metrics isn't quite as available as if you use Facebook or Instagram. So how do you kind of navigate that, especially with small, medium enterprises?
Yeah, so I always say like TikTok is the top of your funnel, right? Like TikTok is the biggest part that's just going to get tons of attention into your to your brand or to your business, right? It's that huge net that you can throw out there, catch people, and then narrow them down to your Instagram, to your YouTube, to your website. But yeah, with those like stereotypes, I still have to open to most people by saying like TikTok is much more than that singing and dancing app for teenagers, right? Like there are still many like stereotypes and preconceived notions that that's what TikTok is for, and many people think that's what it's limited to. It does take the customer or the client kind of getting on the platform and seeing, okay, actually there is much more for this. The algorithm is very smart too. So I more just kind of go through the algorithm with them, and I tell them, TikTok has a smart algorithm. It learns what you engage with and what you like as a user. So if you log on right away, you're going to see the most trendy, popular stuff that everybody's sharing because it's the largest community on it is teenagers. So when you log on, you're going to see teenager popular content. But if you give it like a week and actually just, that's why I call it curating your For You page. If you give it a week or so and search up the content you want to see, you're going to teach TikTok's algorithm what you'd rather look at. And it'll adapt to that. It's going to learn and start showing you stuff you want to see. So I find by just doing that and encouraging, clients to start with their own account and just give it a shot, then they come back and they'll say, you know what, I have found there is a niche, there is a community for me on this. Yeah. I'm going to then try it. Another access point, it does help to have, so I do have an Excel or a Google sheet going with just a few charts and tables of, here's this niche, here's this business, here are some small business accounts really doing well on the platform. So that way, and that could be international. It doesn't matter if they're local, right, to the client. But whenever someone reaches out and says, I have a photography business, I want to see what other photographers are doing for their business on TikTok. Right there, I just open it up and I say, okay, check out these 5 accounts, and that's really a good way to kind of, bridge that gap right away and show them that someone's already using it.
Yeah, I can actually relate to your point regarding the algorithm, because when I'm using TikTok, and each time I will spend a longer time consuming a certain content. For example, how they DIY the kitchen. It's like a smart home kind of feature. So I find myself spending some time there, and I realize more of that content keeps coming in. So, and I kind of learned that's how the algorithm works. So it's quite interesting. It's a valuable insight that you can actually use to sell to potential clients.
Yes, exactly. And, I did miss a part of the question I didn't answer, because you are right that the metrics aren't as accessible on TikTok. Even so, when we're going to be looking at TikTok advertising, I have many clients ask me about that. I don't think TikTok advertising is where it needs to be right now. It's not something I take as an approach. And like we said, TikTok doesn't take that as much data as like Facebook and Instagram. So you can't really learn as much about your potential client or customer you're advertising to. However, things on TikTok, as soon as someone wants to get into the more, paid promotion on TikTok, I will look at influencer marketing, because TikTok is all about having that strong community, right? So it might not work as well for local businesses, because you'll be hard pressed to find a local influencer, I find. But if you can find an influencer who has a great online community on TikTok, and that community matches your product or your customer, right there, you already have a huge community that you can market to. So influencer marketing would be the next step up. Ads are on the way, I think. I think they have to refine quite a bit, but it's still a new platform compared to Instagram and Facebook, and they took a while to get their ads out too, right?
Are you in contact? Are you aware of the community of influencers in Canada, probably, or the States?
Yes.
So you kind of know them and all that.
Yeah. Again, I just similar to my accounts that I'll reference, I have a list of people I've contacted previously, and it just does come down to like, hey, I work with clients across a few different industries. You seem like you have a great niche for, this, that, and that.
Yeah.
Could I contact you in the future, and we can maybe set up something in terms of your influencer promotions? And those people they usually have a quick Gmail address or their business email in their TikTok bio. So I contact them through there. TikTok.
So do they have they have an agent? Do they have like a middleman? Like you have to engage someone before you can engage them?
It's about, I'd probably say, like, if we're talking the micro influencers, it's usually just themselves, right? And then they're and those are the ones who are still learning how to like price themselves and whatnot. So you kind of have to work with them a little bit more. But the higher end, so if you get like upwards of about, let's say 800,000 followers, I do find that they have an agent or someone else that they'll have me speak to.
Right. Yeah, because it's the same thing as Singapore, where because we follow the TikTok Singapore account, where we actually notice that they have a pool of content creators, that's what they call it, and they kind of make themselves available for brand partnerships and all that. So what I noticed, what they'll do is each time there's a new trending video and all that, they'll be the first to ride on it, and they will get a massive number of views.
So apparently,
they kind of get the ball. Yeah. They got the ball rolling. Yeah.
Apparently, as of June 2020, so apparently just this month, TikTok finally stopped doing that. But yes, because it was starting to become a well-known thing, and I think that's why they stopped it, where TikTok had its specific influencers and its big accounts. And a few days or a day before the big hashtag challenge, like you said, before that went live to everybody else, TikTok would release it to them and say, hey, here is what we're going to be posting or making live tomorrow.
Yeah.
You might want to make some content for it.
Do something about it. Yeah.
So you can be right up there. So apparently they just stopped doing that, which is hopefully true.
Okay.
Yeah. TikTok has kind of a critical mass right now, right? That they don't have to kind of artificially assist these influencers. Do you see the algorithm changing? Do you see the culture dynamics changing, like from now onwards?
I do, for sure. And I do see them, like you said, it's very fast paced right now, TikTok's growth and evolution. Like TikTok's doing things that I think Instagram took several years to implement or to even start to implement, right? Which is fair, because TikTok's, Instagram kind of paved the way a little bit. TikTok's learning from it and already has that foundation that other platforms have set out for them. But in terms of the business opportunities coming out, TikTok is moving fast, which I think it might be similar to what you were mentioning about the TikTok Singapore account. But there's the TikTok Creator Marketplace, right, which is an actual platform owned by TikTok. And what they do is they reach out to a specific pool of influencers. They have to invite the influencers to it. But what they then do is they reach out to the brands. It's currently only for really big brands, so it's not accessible to any of us, right? It's like to like Nike and like Chipotle and Adidas, right? So it's for the big brands right now and the big influencers. But TikTok is actually doing their first party platform, which is the Creator Marketplace, and they will match up influencers with a brand that kind of works for them. And the expectation is that is eventually going to open up for smaller brands and businesses to be able to access, and more micro influencers to be able to access. And that's something we're excited for. They're also experimenting with directly in the link. They're going to have shop now buttons, right? So this is really, that's really exciting, especially for anyone dealing with influencers, because you can, you're removing that friction. You're going to give that influencer your product. They can talk about it or just be wearing it or whatnot, or having it featured. And then right there in the link above their username, it's going to say shop now. The viewer clicks that button, it goes to your link. You can maybe set up an affiliate sponsorship with that influencer. Wow. So it's really exciting. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I find the bottom portion of the interface, where it's got the captions, it's got your name, it's got your effects. It's a bit busy. So like any other like label is gonna be there, it's gonna occupy half the screen. That's just my opinion. But it's quite an interesting thought.
We do see that with, and the first thing I tell people too is like, watch out when you're typing your caption. Like, don't put any important content in the bottom half, because your caption can cover it. But currently though, right above the username, if you have any effects, it's going to put the effect name. So the shop now button will replace that. So it'll just replace, it'll be like the more important info. So it's going to replace the effects and stuff.
Cool. So I'm just curious, where do you find out all this information? You're well versed in all these latest updates and all that.
Yeah, like a lot of personal research. Like I say, I am probably more passionate about the platform than most people, or than I should be. But
that's cool, man.
It's a fascinating platform to me, so I like following the updates and the trends. I also I'm all about a cross-channel promotion and being on as many platforms as I can. I don't like to go too overboard, so the ones I don't use, I kind of stay off of. But I'm also very big on LinkedIn, because that does have a huge organic reach. And when I have a client who doesn't work, TikTok won't work for them, chances are that means LinkedIn will work for them, right? Because they're the opposite of the TikTok community. So I like to have both those grounds covered. And oddly enough, there is some crossover. So I have a great community on LinkedIn of other TikTok influencers or TikTok ad marketers, and we kind of share our notes and our ideas and our findings. So I find more people doing experiments and looking out. That's a great way for me to kind of get these insights too.
How would you bridge something like a young and small restaurant, and how would you push that on LinkedIn? Would that be a platform that makes sense for a restaurant?
No. So I say to most people, like TikTok is like my B2C kind of platform. LinkedIn's the B2B one. So with like a restaurant, I don't think it would work, right? Because that's more just bringing the food to the people. Yeah, with a restaurant in particular, I wouldn't. Things like a photographer though and whatnot, like, or like even like a personal trainer have done surprisingly well on LinkedIn, right? Because their market's there, especially during these times. I have a client who's a personal trainer, and I said, you can't train anybody right now. You're not allowed to, and it's hurting your business. Why don't you go on LinkedIn, start putting up at-home workout routine videos, and that's going to build a community that you can kind of pivot towards when things do go back to normal, and that's working really well for them. Yeah.
So when you say some of the clients who their content might not won't work on TikTok, they might work on LinkedIn. How do you measure the success of if a content in TikTok works for a particular client?
Yeah.
Like, is it the number of reactions that they get, number of likes and all that? What's the measure?
The measure of a success on TikTok?
Yeah, for your client.
Yeah. We look at their views, their following, but we also look at how many we can convert to whether it's their website, their Instagram, or their YouTube. So TikTok's really great at being able to directly link your Instagram and your YouTube in your bio, right? So you can have those right there. And it's not really released for all accounts. So it takes a little bit of time to be able to have this feature, but you can put a website as well. So most accounts that are a few months old will gradually just get this feature over time. But so if anyone sees this and says like, oh, I don't have the website option, it comes with time, but it will be there. But unfortunately, we can't directly measure like these clicks or these follows or these signups came from TikTok. We can't do that. But typically, just with the volume of traffic that TikTok does see, right, especially if we have some successful videos and a successful following growing, we do directly see an increase in YouTube subscribes or Instagram follows or website traffic as well. So we more look at that and package it with how their Instagram is going to be doing and maybe what they're selling on Instagram, or how their website's going to be doing and what they're selling on their website.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's one cool.
Okay, I just want to ask something about production quality. Like, Lucas, what's your opinion about, if you're a brand and they think that their videos need to be of a certain level of polish, or are you more of the view of let it look a bit grungy, a bit more native? What's your take on the level of production quality you need as a business?
Yep, that's a great question. The main thing I focus on is have good lighting, right? So have good natural lighting. I film directly in front of a window. I open up all the blinds I can, and I just turn on any lights in the room. And that's usually good enough. And then from there, I don't really go above and beyond for any more than that. Because like you said, I do find that people on TikTok, if it's too well produced, they think it's an ad, right? Or they just think it's a commercial. And a great example I look at whenever this question comes up is the Nike TikTok account, right? Nike, one of the biggest brands in the world, they have a massive budget they could put towards production quality if they wanted to. Nike's TikTok account is 100% user-generated content. So it is entirely just content of people using Nike products or wearing Nike products or showing off their gear that they send to the Nike TikTok account, and Nike just reposts it. And they have millions of followers, right? So they're a great example of a massive brand. If you look at Nike's Instagram, it's probably so professional. It's probably so well refined, right? But their TikTok is just a mixture of user-generated content. And that's what the TikTok community likes, right? It's build your community, invite your customer into it, and then they're going to want to, you don't even have to sell to them, right? They're going to be part of your community. They're going to want to support you. They're going to want to be a part of what you're doing. And Nike's done that really well. Even with the one thing I'll add to that too, even with like their huge like athletes that they've hired. So they have like, the huge soccer athletes, or we'll call it soccer in Canada, the huge athletes that they have partnerships with. They don't even send a production team to film the TikTok video. They'll just say, take out your phone on like the soccer pitch, and while you're taking some shots on net or whatever, just film something and we're going to post it on our TikTok account. So if you go on the Nike TikTok, there'll be like professional athletes just that they showing content they film themselves with their phone and sent to Nike. So it's very interesting. It is huge, and it's something that not enough businesses or brands are leaning into on TikTok, but they really should be, because it's such easy content to get, and it acts as a customer testimonial, right? Like if like you can create your content or just, struggle to think of content ideas, or you could just have your loyal customers or people who really like your brand or business create content for you, right? So that's promoting it. It's showing that they trust you, you're authentic, and it's nice, easy content, right?
And they spend $0 on it, I would say.
Exactly. It's yeah. So look at like Nike, look at like Chipotle, look at the huge, even there's this toy called Spike Ball. I don't know if it's big in North America, but it is basically this game that is just it's a little mini trampoline that goes on the ground, and all the players stand around this trampoline, and you just have a ball, and you kind of have to it's kind of like volleyball. You hit it into the trampoline, and then it deflects, and the next person has to hit it back into the trampoline, right? But this is a game that went viral and honestly just had so many people wanting to buy this. It sold out everywhere because people just saw it on TikTok. They said, like, that looks like a lot of fun. More people filmed themselves playing it and putting it on TikTok. It became a trend. And this business, had amazing success just because of showing off their cool product on TikTok, and people were doing the advertising for them.
Nice. Wow. So that's pretty interesting. And I like the fact that Nike, they kind of adapt their content, which is the user generated content, together with how it is, how TikTok content is like. It's recorded with your phone. It's very easy, high production value and all that. So I think they're smart to kind of let it blend in well, so that consumers there, they can kind of easily consume the content.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like what you said, it could look, people might get turned off if it looks like an ad.
Yeah, and show the TikTok community that you are part of the community. You understand the style of video that's being successful on there, right? Like, they wouldn't want Nike to just start putting up advertising content, because then it's just going to feel like Nike is trying to make it. Right?
Okay, so I have a question. Would you advise a content creator to use the TikTok app to create videos, to use the effects and all that, or should they use a separate app on their phones and then edit it and then upload it on TikTok? Which would you best recommend?
That's a great question. If someone is able to do everything they need to do on TikTok, I would just advise to stick to TikTok. We used to think that using a third-party platform and then uploading your video would hurt its reach. That's not true anymore. So we don't have any reason to believe that anymore. But if you can film your video using all the means that TikTok provides, I would stick with that. However, if there are other things you want to do, so something I do on my videos are actually all entirely filmed outside of TikTok. So I use my camera, I film it. I use DaVinci Resolve just because it's free and it's what I'm used to. But and so even DaVinci Resolve is way more advanced than I need for TikTok. It's just the platform I happen to have. But I use DaVinci Resolve because I use a lot of video overlay, right? So I like to overlay a video and then I'll talk about it or I'll comment on it. And that's something I can't do in TikTok. So I have to use another program. There are like the green screen stickers, but they're too small in my opinion. So I like to use my own kind of overlay. But yeah, it doesn't hurt my reach. If you can though, try to do it all in TikTok, just because that is going to be the best bet. And TikTok reduces your quality a little bit when you upload. So some people notice, I put my nice 1080 video up, it looks like it's 720 on TikTok. That does happen. It does compress it a bit, but overall it doesn't hurt the viewer experience.
Yeah, because like I look at Jason Derulo, and he's killing it on TikTok, right? And you can tell that he does a lot of production work outside of the app. And are there any celebrities that you keep an eye out for?
Yeah, so he's actually like the TikTok star, right, in terms of like celebrities on there. But Dwayne The Rock Johnson, or I guess just Dwayne Johnson now, he's huge on there, and like he's just kind of like showing his family or like talking to his daughter and stuff. So it's more just, it makes them look more human, right? Which is a huge thing for the big brands to really lean into. Zach King, he's more of like he's not really like a celebrity outside of TikTok, but like we know for a fact he's using some high tech like programs to actually edit his videos, right? So whenever someone asks me like, does third-party software hurt your videos? I was like, look at the guy who has one of the top 5 most successful TikTokers. He definitely is not using the TikTok app.
No, that's a great point about using human experiences for TikTok content, because a lot of the businesses, when we approach them and we tell them, or at least their understanding of TikTok, they get very intimidated about riding on a trend. They're like, what if we are not creative enough? Like, that's the first impulse. Like, what if we are not creative enough to create content on TikTok? Because it's very trend based. It's a lot of it is riding on, like what you say, an awareness of what the culture and the community represents there. So what do you have to say about people who feel that creativity is limited?
Yeah, like I said, you're going to have the best access and you're going to blend the most in with TikTok and really fit in with the community if you just kind of sample the videos and watch the videos. Something I actually recommend for the teams that are large enough to be able to do this, usually the go-to person for TikTok is, if I'm speaking with a team, I'll say, well, do you have an intern? Like, let me speak with your intern. and and with like a 45-minute just video call with an intern, or a 30-minute video call with an intern, right from there, like I say, like, you are going to be the TikTok person. And this is going to be huge for you, right? Because this is going to be something they can take in terms of social media or marketing in general. But I say, like, through your perspective, you're going to be the one who probably knows the most about the trends. You're going to be on TikTok and learning the trends. This is going to be a fun job for you, but you can kind of get that freedom to go around the office and start filming it. A big one I would look at, a big business I would look at, is the Washington Post. Their TikTok account, what they like, they're a big newspaper and media agency, but all they've done is, this was before COVID, but they had just a designated employee. I think Wendy's, the food chain, does this too. They have a designated employee, and they said, you go around the office, you pull in people from the office and get them to participate in TikTok trends, and you be the expert on that. And now, actually, really unique in how they've pivoted is, since the Washington Post is working from home because their offices are closed, everybody's working from home. He's now, he has his phone at home, and he's still posting the TikTok content, but he's saying, like, look, we're this big company. We're working from home too. We're all on the same page. Let me show you some of the funny stuff I'm doing at home to kind of make it more of a workspace. And it's bringing in the customer. It's making them feel all on the same level, right?
I have something to say about that. Because as a design studio, because we are running a design studio, I try to look for inspirations on TikTok to find out what kind of content to post. And I came across this account. It's actually a design studio as well. And they actually gave the TikTok account to the intern, or to the junior designer. What he did was, he made a prank on his boss, and no one knew. And because of that prank, and there was a lot of traction on TikTok, they managed to get a high number of click rates on their website.
Was this where he was changing the nose or the eyes or something?
Yes, the eyes. So he made the eyes bigger.
Yes, that's what it was.
In each post, he made the eyes bigger just to see whether his boss noticed it or not. But then that's an interesting kind of content. It doesn't really talk about the usual portfolio, flexing all the works that you have done. It's just like fun content. So that's something that I learned, that it
so
can
we
be
wish
a different...
that would happen. Right? Because
we
like, because in VI, at least, like, we are like a decade older than the interns, right? And we were riding on TikTok, but then when we were telling the interns who are like fresh from design school, like, no, why didn't you get on TikTok? They were like, no, we are way too old for this. And they're like, no, dude. So
we have a different breed of
right?
interns.
Yeah,
we have a different breed.
But I think the pandemic has actually caused a huge shift towards TikTok. At least in Singapore, it's very visible. So previously, it was a much younger demographic, and that early 20s, even the late teens, were a bit smug about TikTok. But then they've all migrated. All our influencers have migrated to TikTok.
I agree. Yeah, and like same thing with North America. You're seeing like the parents, or like the mothers, or like I even said my 62-year-old dad is on TikTok, and he doesn't post obviously, but he loves just watching content. I always hear it. Like when I was living at home, I used to hear it in the other room all the time. But yeah, like it's really pushed the older family members to say, like, well, this is something that like my younger relative or like my kid is always on. I finally have some spare time. I'm gonna check it out. Right? Or people got bored of Instagram, right? Because their friends and family don't have interesting stuff to post on Instagram anymore, right? And that's something that's also a unique distinction. Instagram has become about like showing your perfect self, right? Or not for everybody, but many people like try to find that perfect Instagram picture, that perfect image that's really just going to
The
be
perfect feed.
yes, exactly, right? On TikTok, it's the complete opposite. And I think people find that refreshing. If a video is not good, it's going to be seen for a few seconds and then it just disappears, right? Like it's not going to really, or you post so much content on TikTok that your feed is constantly just being updated with new stuff. So people have liked that. It's been refreshing.
Okay, I've got something like to pick your brain about, because I mean you've been an educator, you've been TikTok expert. So one thing we're seeing, at least in Singapore, is previously kids, when you ask them what occupations they want, they go for very traditional kind of jobs. But at least in the last few years, they just be, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be an influencer, and so there's a bit of a big disconnect between the parents and the kids at the moment. It's like, do you see a kind of culture shift happening primarily around TikTok, like around kids, what they're more capable of? Like, is there a sharp increase in like creativity maybe, or something very different about kids raised on TikTok?
That's a great point. Yeah, no, I do see it. And same thing, like we see kids, as soon as kids realize like, what, I can get paid millions of dollars to be a video game streamer, right? Like that's like most kids' dream. Obviously they realize that's like, it is like a 1 in a million kind of for many people, right? But yes, I do find that kids are realizing that there are like less traditional jobs that they want to now try. And like you said, it's not going to make sense to the parents. Hopefully, as as the generation kind of ages up, we will see it being more normal. But I do think with TikTok in particular, Instagram, Facebook, other social, even Snapchat, other social media platforms, we're not really teaching these creative skills to kids. They weren't encouraging them to do anything, right? Like kids would just repost to Instagram, or they wouldn't even touch YouTube, right? They would watch YouTube content. But an interesting statistic about TikTok is I think something like 85% of TikTok users who have downloaded the app and made an account have actually posted at least one video, which is actually quite huge for a video-based platform. The fact that people are actually overcoming that fear of video that we've seen for so long and making at least one piece of content. On YouTube, YouTube has a massive audience, but a very small percentage of YouTube users create video, right? YouTube is intimidating. It's longer form. You see all these well-edited videos and you think like, I can't do that. I'm not even going to try. But on TikTok, since even we're talking like the big celebrities and the big corporations, since they are even doing lower quality or lower production quality videos, it makes everybody feel like, oh, okay, I can try it too. I'm going to become a creator.
Wow, this is like TikTok is a kind of a training ground for longer form content. Like,
yes,
and it's true because these kids are becoming more comfortable performing for TikTok. I mean, they're doing like little micro skits. They're doing comedic stuff,
voiceovers and all.
Right?
Yeah, it's boosting creativity.
Yeah, so they're going to be the future creatives for the industry, man.
Short form video in particular.
Yeah. I have a question regarding the celebrity portion we mentioned earlier. So I want to ask you, because we have celebrities who has got a high number of following on Instagram, Facebook, and all that, and when they jump into TikTok, it's like an immediate reaction where they get a lot of following because of their fame and because they're celebrities, for example, like Dwayne Rock Johnson. So will it like interfere with the whole algorithm if like all the celebrities jump in on TikTok? Like, how will like the newer content creators to small scale survive in that pool of like?
And you did see people were worried about that for a little bit, and I think the TikTok the company actually did like respond to that and made sure it didn't seem this was happening. But you did see tons of sentiment where people were worried that these celebrities were all of a sudden just going to take over the For You page. And since they were the ones getting, like you said, huge followings, tons of views, that they were then going to pretty much turn TikTok into more like Instagram, where only the big accounts really break out. But it hasn't happened. And something that actually is very interesting, again, just this month, one of the algorithm updates is, people hear this and they think, oh no, this is bad for TikTok, but it actually is quite good for the smaller creators. What TikTok did now is similar to my story, where I had 0 followers. My first ever video got 2 million. TikTok has now delayed that. So most videos, most accounts now are going to require about 5 videos before they can potentially start to go viral. And that does include the huge celebrity accounts. So obviously celebrities will still get tons of followers just because of their name, and they get that blue check mark right away as soon as they sign up. But that is actually going to delay that, because I think TikTok realized, as a company, they realized that celebrities were just hopping on TikTok, making one video, right? Like some of the big celebrities have like less than 5 videos. They're making one video, getting millions of followers, and then hopping off TikTok and not using it anymore. So I think TikTok is trying to prevent that from happening. They want the celebrities who are actually going to be active in the community, right? Like we said, Jason Derulo. I think like Justin Bieber joined TikTok back in like February or so, or no, January, and he got millions like overnight, obviously. But he has actually started to engage with TikTok. He's done a few TikTok challenges now, and he uses the user generated content as well. So people who post like his dance challenge, he'll put it up there.
Cool. So what are the chances of like someone, a new content creator, ends up similar to your situation, where you post one video and you'll get millions of views? What are the chances now?
So I say what it looks like now is, again, like I had some luck on my side, but I also did have what I've narrowed down to be some of the really good aspects of good viral content on TikTok, which I can let you guys know about in a second. But what I say now, as opposed to hoping for like that video to go viral pretty early on, I say if someone posts consistently on TikTok for 30 days, right? So go on TikTok for a month, post a video a day. And again, that does sound daunting, but when it's a 15-second video or even less, which is what I encourage, it can actually be quite fast, right? Like if you're just posting one video a day and experimenting with different content, right? Like many people, I think, try the same thing over and over again. And because it doesn't do well the first few times, I tell them to stop and try something different, right? Experiment during those first 30 days or those first 60 days, try new things. But if you are trying to shake it up with new content, within that first 30 days, I think it's very doable to have one video at least get over 10,000 views. And then from there, many people are finding that in their first 30 days, they're getting a video with 100,000 or more views. So it's not about, TikTok's more about a probability game, right? So put more chips into the system for yourself and make sure it's good quality at least, but put more out there and you are going to increase your chances. And all it takes is one, because there is some randomness involved. All it takes is one of those and you can easily get a couple 100,000 views.
All right. So it's time to start putting out more content on TikTok.
Because Lucas, like my sense of it is that TikTok is still a platform very much in its infancy. So there's a big opportunity here, like because a lot of companies still haven't ridden that wave yet. So if you're it's still early for a lot of companies to come in and get a bigger share of the pie. Or would you say that that peak has kind of passed, and then now a lot more people are starting to ride that wave already? What's your sense of it?
I think you said it really well. People are starting to ride the wave. The peak has not passed. The peak is still there. So the chance is still there. It's not as great, right? And it is going away, but the chance is totally still there. I think TikTok is constantly changing up what they're offering, and we are seeing brand new people come out of nowhere on TikTok still every day, right? It's a quickly consumed platform, so people want new, fresh stuff. They want new people, right? So they do have their loyal followings, but new people are constantly breaking out every week on TikTok.
Right. Cool,
and the thing is, you don't really see of anyone who of really screwing up TikTok, right? You don't get much flack on TikTok, right?
No, and the way the algorithm works, if the content's bad, it just won't be shown to many people, right? Like good content on TikTok gets shown to more people. Content that doesn't get great engagement is going to not be shown. So I just tell people, try it out. Don't spam, because then that can get you like a shadow ban, or it can hurt your reach, right?
So what's a shadow ban?
So a shadow ban is just, and this is a real thing, TikTok will stop showing your content to new people, right? Your followers will be able to see it. So you have to be careful, but it really only comes down to people who are doing like spam behavior. I was speaking to someone, sometimes people reach out to me for help on how to get unshadow banned. And I was speaking to someone, he has 150,000 followers on TikTok, but he got that by kind of spamming the system. And one single day, he posted 110 videos. Like,
What? Holy shit!
I don't know how someone. Yeah, so I think he gained 50,000 followers from doing that. But the problem is now that probably sent off so many red flags at TikTok HQ, right? Like, first of all, that's tons of videos, but also that's a huge surge in following. And it wasn't like he didn't really have like 1 or 2 videos go viral. It was just with 110 videos, they were seen. Each one maybe were seen by 5,000 people, right? So it kind of, now it's hurt his account because now he's been waiting 3 weeks, and all his videos he posts, even though he has 150,000, only get about like 2,000 views, 5,000 views. So that's why I tell people, don't start off on TikTok and post like 7 a day. Stick to 1 to 3 pieces of content a day, and shake it up. Keep them short. Many people go on TikTok, and when I look at their accounts because they want some help or some tips, right away I'll see that like, okay, this video is 21 seconds. It could have been more optimized for 12 seconds, right? But there are those slight gaps, or that beginning where you have a slow start. You really got to keep it to the point. Speak right away, incorporate movement, have that visual right away, so someone's going to stop swiping and go, okay, I want to see more of that, right? Yeah.
That first 3 seconds, I would assume. Yeah.
Like, I mean, not enough people are talking about that. Actually, it's very like creative discipline. Like you got to be concise and just jump right in. Okay.
Yeah, and
I wouldn't have thought about the 7, like capping it off at, not putting like 7 videos a day. Because we of the school have thought that volume matters a lot more. Like just churn out as much as you can,
and speed. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's platform dependent, right?
I would go up to 5. I've found is okay. So if someone posts up to 5 pieces a day, I don't see it getting hurt too badly. Just if those 5 videos are not doing well, maybe slow down. That's what I say to people. So kind of just read the trends. However, again, I've mentioned this a few times, but TikTok did a big May and June update. So that's why I've mentioned, I think, 3 times now, like recent changes. But what they just did now is they're reviewing their content more. So people are noticing, and myself included, whereas while videos used to get, on the bigger accounts, videos used to get like thousands and thousands of followers immediately. TikTok is putting more of a review process in place where you now have to wait 24 hours to about even up to a week for your video to really take off. So it's not a bad thing, because I found that after that review takes place, my content is exploding even more than it ever did. But it's a much more delayed growth now. So people are thinking, oh no, I've been shadow banned. But I tell them, talk to me in 24 hours. And now they're finding that, okay, now I have several thousand followers or several thousand views. It's just more delayed, right?
I think when in doubt, like when you don't know what to do, just listen to Gary Vee. He said just post 3 to 4 a day.
Yeah.
He keeps pounding that every day.
He does put out a lot of output, yeah. But they have good production quality too. So he has like his whole team, right? So like I say his team, like they have it down to an art form where they can take like 5 hours of actual just raw footage, and they can turn it into like a 30-minute YouTube video of their week, or they can turn into like a 10-second TikTok video and do just as well with both.
So me and Prof, we call it slice and dice.
Yeah.
And slice and dice and turn it into content, more content.
Yeah, that's a big thing. That's what I'm all about too. I film everything in landscape, and then I post it on YouTube. I trim it to IGTV, and I'll put the clips on TikTok as well, right?
Honestly, on a more honest note, like when we're working with clients, even getting them to do 3 to 4 videos a day is a miracle. So that's a good problem to have if your client wants to do more. So
yeah, especially with video, and that's what I say, because it didn't come up earlier, but like there are like YouTube is coming out with a direct rival to TikTok pretty soon, right? It's called YouTube Shorts.
What?
And it's they announced it in March, but I'm like, YouTube works quickly, so I'm sure it's probably going to be out in the next few months.
You have a Facebook as a competitor too, right?
Pardon? Facebook has come out with like 6 copies. Like the only which that's what Facebook does though, right? Like Facebook will try to rival a platform like 6 times over, and it can fail 5 times and then succeed on the 6th, and we don't hear about the other 5. The most notable one was called Lasso that Facebook came out with.
Yes, I heard about it.
But that one flopped entirely. Like it had a couple thousand viewers, but no one stuck to it. Vine created Byte, which was like the old company that made Vine, tried to make Byte. That didn't catch on.
So I actually went on Byte. I thought to put this content.
People do that too, just to see like, well, it could be TikTok. I could get on the new like the new thing early, right? But with how TikTok came out of nowhere, it's hard to now get on these opportunities. YouTube Shorts, I think, will be the big rival for it, and it'll be interesting to see how YouTube works because they have the licensing for tons of the popular music, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to be an exclusive thing. That's what I think TikTok's probably trying to figure out. But what I say, and Gary Vee says this too, right? When he says like, if people ask me if this platform were to be shut down tomorrow, would I be like hurting? But it's like, no, I think the communication style of short form video is what the future is. So it doesn't matter what platform that is. If TikTok gets beat by YouTube Shorts, I'll probably be pretty good at making content for YouTube Shorts, and I can pivot to there, right?
All right. Okay, guys, we have 10 more minutes. I have just one last point, and then we can kind of wrap this up. So I just want to be honest. I'm guilty of like going to people's TikTok account and liking all the comments and try to comment on every comment. What's your take on that?
No, that's fine. Like, and like we see people like the engagement is what we say drives Instagram nowadays, right? Like the big thing on Instagram is people say, the first 30 minutes before and after your post, you really got to be engaging like crazy to get that reach for your own your own content. TikTok's interesting because you don't have to do that at all. I actually like before that recent update where they did the more delayed growth, I used to like post a TikTok video and put my phone away for an hour. And like I've seen people post about this because like other people have felt this. There's no actual backing to it, but sometimes when you don't touch the TikTok app and just put it away, it's almost like your videos do better, right? But I think people have taken that and been like, oh, I don't have to engage on TikTok, right? Because they're so sick of it from having to do it on Instagram so much that they think they don't have they like that they don't have to on TikTok. But it is a great opportunity to grow. So finding accounts in your niche and just commenting on them and actually authentically engaging, people are going to love that on TikTok, right? So leave a nice, thoughtful comment or like an interesting comment, and that'll really convert into some followers. Whenever I comment on whenever I reply to the comments on my video, people are still like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you replied. When I'm not even like, in TikTok standards, I'm not even a huge account, right? Like I have 80,000, but like by other standards, that's not even huge. But people will be so surprised when I reply, and 4 times out of 5, someone who's not following me, if I reply to their comment and just say like, hey, thanks for checking out my video, they'll follow right away, right? So it does lead to more engagement. It's good.
Nice. So I'll kind of continue doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, Prof, any more questions from your side?
I'll ask one last question, and then Lucas, you can just go into the plug where people can find you and where anything you want to shout out about your business. So I think as a content creator, is there a feature that you would like to see TikTok introduce?
Yeah, I've received this one quite a few times, and I always default to like what I don't want to see them introduce, which is images and photos. Like people always ask that, like, do you think TikTok is going to shift over to like get in the game with Instagram and add photo or stories? I don't think they will, and I don't want them to, because I think TikTok is unique for what it does. A story is also too similar to a TikTok video in general, I find, right? So people wouldn't even use stories on TikTok, in my opinion, because it's the exact same thing. Some things I do want to see them add. I want to see the live feature more optimized. So TikTok Live is a great potential for brands and businesses. You need 1,000 followers to get the option, but people can directly be paid on the TikTok app, right? If they're doing a live. Gary Vee did a telethon fundraiser the other day, and he raised millions of dollars. Yeah, 12 hours straight on TikTok Live. Almost like those things you used to see on television back in the day, where there'd be like a crisis and people were just on the phone lines taking pledges, right? Like he was doing that, and he raised several $1 million. So the potential is there.
I actually tuned in because it's not available in Singapore's TikTok account. So you have to kind of log into the browser. So I actually tuned in and witnessed someone donated like 3,000 or something.
Yeah.
300,000.
And he had tons of guests. Yeah, it was just like a huge interview thing. Yeah, so I want to see that being used more. I've also heard like, again, TikTok has tons of these features that they've announced and they're trying out right now. There is a beta testing program. It's full right now, but it's something to keep an eye on to kind of be ahead of the trends. I'm waiting to get into it myself, actually. But what they're going to be adding with the live is they're adding almost like a shopping channel feature. We don't know what it's going to look like, but there's eventually or hopefully going to be a feature where people can be live and directly sell stuff on TikTok live, like a shopping channel. People can buy it directly in the feed, in the browser, and go from there. So yeah.
There's going to be
a little bit of it on Facebook, right? They have the Facebook live auctions. It's quite big in Singapore. Also.
Yeah. Yeah, the big Shopify partnership in Facebook too is another one.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Wow. Hey, guys, I don't know about you guys, but I think there's a lot of valuable insights in this conversation.
Thank you for giving us your morning, Lucas.
No, this is great. And this is like, sometimes I worry about sounding like sometimes when I do these chats, I end up being like a broken record where I'll just be like, this is the algorithm. This is the content that works. This is right.
Yeah, we wanted to avoid that.
This was excellent. Yeah, and I love these chats because I get so many new ideas from these. So this is really great.
All right. Thanks for opening our eyes to a lot of things. So we got 5 minutes left. So all right, Lucas, give us the plug. Where can we find you? The whole story. Yeah.
So if anyone does want to connect with me or find my resources, they can just check out On the Clock Media. And that is going to be on Instagram, that's on YouTube, that's on LinkedIn. Those are the main platforms you'll find me using. But yeah, what I'm actually doing is entirely on YouTube. I'm putting out all my info into a free instructional video course. I'm just working on it right now, but it should be updated by the end of this week. And it's just pretty much just like a starting from scratch TikTok for business course that many people are going to find. It's going to go into basics, but also some more advanced techniques that are really going to be good practices for the platform. And I'm also putting out a free ebook that is going to be based on that content. So people can find that on my Instagram, On the Clock Media, or even just ontheclockmedia.com.
Great stuff.
And there you have it.
All right.
On the Clock Media, guys.